All right, let's dive right into this explainer by imagining a very specific, yet honestly, an incredibly common scenario. Picture this. You're a finance director. You're sitting at your desk on a quiet Tuesday afternoon, just going about your normal, everyday routine. Then, suddenly your phone buzzes. It's an urgent video call from your company's CEO.
You pick up, right? And the face on the screen is absolutely unmistakable. The voice has that exact familiar, authoritative tone you're so used to hearing in board meetings. The instructions are crystal clear. Your CEO tells you there is an urgent, highly confidential acquisition happening right this second, and you need to wire $25 million to an overseas account immediately. Now, because everything looks and sounds perfectly normal, you go ahead and execute the transfer, completely confident you've just done your job efficiently.
But here's the absolute kicker, and it's truly terrifying. Only later do you find out that your CEO was actually on a plane the entire time. He never made that call. The person you just talked to, who looked and sounded exactly like your boss, was just a digital ghost, a perfectly rendered AI clone. That $25 million? It's gone, and there was literally no way to get it back.
Section 1. The Deepfake Fraud Epidemic, Corporate Robbery.
So how exactly did we let generative AI morph into the ultimate tool for corporate robbery? I mean, on paper, this tech was supposed to usher in a whole new era of corporate efficiency, right? Not become a weapon for massive financial theft? Well, the answer really lies in the sheer scale of the problem. AI-generated identities now account for a staggering 11% of all global fraudulent activity. Think about that for a second. This isn't some distant sci-fi threat. It's happening right now at a massive scale, and it is completely transforming the entire landscape of white-collar crime.
We are currently looking at a jaw-dropping 180% surge in sophisticated fraud. This new wave of AI-driven crime is just completely outpacing every single defense that businesses currently have in place. To put it simply, our traditional fraud measures, they just weren't built to handle this level of technological deception.
Moving on to Section 2, the illusion of security, collapsed barriers.
To wrap our heads around how these cinematic-level heists happen so frequently, we have to realize that the old rules of forgery, they just do not apply anymore. It used to be that if a criminal wanted to impersonate a high-level executive, they'd need a professional studio, highly skilled forgers, and a whole team of master voice actors. But today, that barrier to entry is completely gone. The new reality is that a single, short podcast clip or YouTube video is quite literally all a scammer needs. These free AI tools can analyze the unique frequencies of a person's speech in seconds, allowing a criminal to just type out whatever they want and have that clone's voice say it in real time.
And that is exactly what makes this technology so dangerous. You see, biologically, we are hardwired to trust what we see and hear. Because these systems are so incredibly adept at manipulating language, they easily fool us into thinking they actually possess genuine human intelligence. But in reality, what we're experiencing is a highly dangerous, totally short-lived illusion of security.
Section 3. Corporate Security's Blind Spots. The Idiocracy. We're seeing this really strange and, frankly, dangerous dynamic forming, where massive, highly funded corporations are getting completely outsmarted by determined yet technologically illiterate criminals. Take Australia's biggest bank, the Commonwealth Bank. They actually had to call in the police to investigate a mind-boggling $1 billion in mortgages. Why? Because they might have been approved based entirely on fake, machine-generated documents. Things like AI-created payslips and bank statements. I mean, if a massive, multi-billion-dollar financial institution can be fooled by free AI document generators, how on earth is your average, everyday business supposed to defend itself against a live, deep-faked video call?
The root of this whole vulnerability boils down to this concept called veneer legitimacy. Basically, we're giving these AI systems our full trust way before they've actually earned it. Remember, these models are designed purely to mimic human interaction. They don't actually understand the real world. But because they construct this flawless facade of business ingenuity, criminals use that veneer unlawfully to reap massive financial benefits.
Let's actually walk through the anatomy of one of these attacks so you can see exactly how they pull this off. Step 1, a hacker breaches an executive's computer. Maybe it's a prompt injection attack or just a simple data breach. Step 2, they harvest personal emails and calendar data. Now this is crucial because it tells them exactly where the executive is and, more importantly, when they're unavailable. Step 3, knowing the boss is on a flight and totally unreachable, they strike, executing that deepfake call to a subordinate.
And honestly, the security flaws in our modern systems are getting so severe that we're essentially doing the hacker's work for them. Take a feature like Windows 11's Recall, which literally screen captures everything you do on your computer. If a hacker gets access to those files, they have absolutely everything they need to impersonate you to a T. We're talking your face, your banking details, your specific conversational style and emails. It becomes an absolute data breach honeypot just waiting to be exploited.
Which brings us to Section 4, the Analog Defense Protocol, offline protocols.
We are quite literally looking at a code red warning for the business world right now. For AI to exist safely within any corporation, there has to be a highly skilled implementation of the tech that deeply understands its shortcomings. Countering this high-tech threat actually requires a surprisingly low-tech defense. Companies have got to urgently establish strict analog protocols for any large financial transfers. We are talking about physical, offline confirmations. If you get a video call asking for millions of dollars, you need a protocol that requires an in-person sign-off or a prearranged, secret verbal password that has never been written down or digitized anywhere. You need a barrier that a hacker simply cannot clone, no matter how good their software gets. The huge takeaway here? We just can't blindly trust the vibe of digital communication anymore. The days of believing your own eyes and ears on a screen are officially over. Until we collectively wake up to the fact that perception is no longer truth, these easily accessible AI tools will continue to be a highly lucrative playground for white-collar criminals.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final critical thought to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. As this technology accelerates at a pace we can barely even comprehend, and as voice and video cloning become literally indistinguishable from reality, can we actually build security systems fast enough to stop the bleeding, or are deepfakes going to make it impossible to trust any digital communication going forward? It's a heavy question, but it's one every single business leader needs to be asking themselves right now. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and hey, keep those analog protocols close.